What's up, YouTubers? A few months ago, I bought a violin. I paid $50 for it. And I never thought in a million years I'd be doing something like this. I've been restoring it. And I'm going to give you a little bit of backstory on it before I show it off. And tell you why that I'm restoring it. This violin is 308 years old, as far as I know. I've done weeks and months of research. I've watched videos, went through the entire process of doing most of all this by hand, the traditional way that it would have been done in the 1700s or prior and after. It's an Antonio Stradivarius, 1716. And from what I can tell, I believe it to be the real deal. If not, it's an extremely well copy. Now, I've looked at a lot of fakes, a lot of copies and replicas, and this one did not match any of them, and it didn't matter where it came from. Rather, it was Germany, Czechoslovakia, France, or wherever. And I've looked at a lot of real Antonio Stradivarius as much as possible, just from what I can get online, pictures and videos or whatever. So this violin at some point was repaired. The luthier that repaired it did a horrible job. I'm not a luthier at all, by no means. But I brought it to 4 violin shops and had 4 different luthiers look at it, and we all agreed that the original varnish had been taken off and somebody tried to recover it. There was wood that was exposed. There was large buildups of varnish, and this is not something Antonio Stradivarius would have done. So, giving its condition after it had been varnished or whatever, it looked like either the old man that owned it originally had wrote pin marks on it. It looked like kind of like a toddler would do with a crayon on your walls. In some spots on the violin was pin marks. And so this has been some extremely tedious work. It's one of the tedious things that I've ever done, and it's been a huge learning process because I've never done anything like this before. So the violin was bought by an old man who lived and died in Germany. I bought it from his grandson, who was a grandfather himself. The case that the violin came with, I do not believe it to be the original case because the violin did not fit in it properly at all. Like, it was extremely loose. But the case that I do have for it, I couldn't find a name or a stamp on it anywhere, but to me it looks like a GSB coffin case, which was made sometime around the 1800s, mid 1800s, late 1800s, earlier mid 1900s. I know, looking at the research on that, I know that the first shop burned down and was rebuilt. So this one may have came from the first shop. I mean, the only thing I found on it was 2 numbers, and it was number 17 on the inside. A lot of the paper on the inside was missing. and the paper was covered with some kind of green material. So I removed that, found the paper, and a lot of the paper that was on the inside, I guess was original to the case, was missing. So I removed it, and I found the two numbers, 17. But anywhere else on the violin, there's no stamps or nothing on it, or the case anyway. So I've been restoring the case and the violin, kind of using the case as a test piece for my varnish, because getting this color correct was extremely difficult for me, because I didn't just buy it already pre-mixed in a bottle. I bought several different colors of clay and went through, or not several, but like a few different colors of clay, and like I said, did the process that Antonio would have done to try to get this color. It's been insane. I even did Indian ink on the scroll. If you know, you know, and I'll show that. Anyway, without further ado, let me go ahead and show you what I've done. So first off, here's the case. Here is the coffin case. I went in with some blue velvet. I've gone in with some blue velvet. I made these larger so it would hold the violin better, and I added that neck brace. I will be getting some leather for this piece, the same type of leather that Antonio Stradivarius would have used on his cases. I even have this guitar that I've been using as a test piece for my stain as well, because doing the violin, I kind of wanted to do it right the first time, one time. I don't want to go backwards or have to fix any mistakes. So I was kind of wanting to do this as a one-step process, everything done right the first time. So anyway, here is the violin. Now, I will be taking it back to a violin shop. I'm going to try to have that piece repaired properly. That was done from the first luthier, and I don't know the time that it was repaired or was attempted to be repaired. There you go. There's the Indian ink I have set on the scroll. And like I said, this is my first time doing something like this. I am not a luthier, but eventually I will be taking the front spruce top off, which is this piece, so I can inspect the inside and get with an actual luthier and see what needs to be done to get this thing back in playable condition. As far as like the label goes, let me see if I can get a good... Y'all bear with me, this is not easy to do one-handed. Here we go. Antonius Stradivarius Ceremonious Fawcett Bat Anno 1716, and there is his signature. So like I said, it doesn't say anywhere that is a copy or was made in. So you tell me what you think. And let me know how you feel about my work. I've even did the Indian ink inside the scroll, which is the way it should have been done. Or the tune box is what I should say. Yeah, let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Like, share. Whoop. Almost lost it. Subscribe. See you later.